Hello guys, so we're doing a video on Gotham Knights using the RTX 3060 Ti. So we're starting it off with 1080p on the high settings. Let's get into the settings real quick. Graphics 1080p, and this is the high preset the game gave us. Now I do have an idea on how this game's gonna run. Doesn't run the best through the city, but we do have a weaker CPU now compared to the 3080 video. So I want to see if the performance is impacted by that, or if it's about the same as what we had with the 3080. Still falling into the high 40s, but our average FPS is way lower than what we had before. We're getting 60 FPS pretty much on average. I do want to drive out of the city in a second and see what we can get without the city bottleneck. GPU's at 50% usage, so technically we can get like 120 FPS, but since we are getting CPU bottleneck, I'm guessing GPU's at 40 to 50% usage, which is pretty bad to be honest. This game is quite intensive and the optimization isn't perfect either, so you're going to see some poor performance if your system isn't up to the task. Now honestly, the stuttering isn't so bad. It was far worse with the 3080 when I was doing that video. It still does happen here as well, as you can see, but it doesn't feel too bad. It's only for a few frames where it feels like it's lagging. We just had to pop it in the car there as well. It's pretty awful. Enabling ray tracing. I just want to see if we get the same kind of FPS issues that we did as the 3080, and it looks like we are getting severe stuttering right now. Mouse is still having issues. It's just spinning around. Look at that, just doing 360s on its own. It's not as bad on the bike. It's kind of funny how it's flipped. Okay, it is pretty bad on the bike still. I'm gonna go ahead and compare the view distance. Gonna have it at max settings, and I'm gonna compare that to the lowest settings. Should give us some extra headroom for the CPU. So we're getting 49 to 65 FPS at max settings. Alright, looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn back around here in a second. I just hit someone again. How'd you live that? Environmental density is gonna be intensive as well. I'm gonna bring this down to low as well. But the rest I'm gonna keep on highest. Let's see if we see an improvement in FPS. Lowest was around 45, I think. Sitting in the mid 50s now, dropping down into the 40s regardless. Yeah, FPS isn't really impacted too much to be honest. It's basically the same. Now playing the game at 1440p high settings. Yeah, we're going to be getting the same amount of performance until the GPU is fully maxed out, because 1080p we're sitting at 50% usage. Now we're sitting at 80% usage. And FPS is uncapped as well in the settings. So if you come over here, FPS limit is set to 360 and VSync is off as well. But let's get going. I'm getting 61 FPS here. Just had a stutter there. 70 FPS is our limit, it seems like. GPU was at 95% at 70 FPS. So at 1440p, 70 FPS is pretty good still at high settings. 1080p, again, you'll probably be getting around 100 to 120 FPS if you weren't getting bottlenecked like me. But in the city, regardless of anything happening, we are still sitting in the mid 30s to 40s. So if you're getting similar performance to me, you probably want to go with a 30 FPS cap in this game. I think 4K 30 is definitely doable with this game on this card. The game does have DLSS available to us as well, which will definitely come in handy at 4K. But in this side of the city, we are able to get 60 to 70 FPS fine. But we still do have some dips into the 40s and 50s, as you saw just then. We dip down into the 50s. Go back to the playable area before I get picked. And enabling ray tracing. The game just falls apart, to be honest, with ray tracing. Stutters every 2 seconds. Freezes. We're getting all the popping as well. Did you see that? Like the road markings are popping in. Which is a weird thing to pop in, to be honest. Oh, it wasn't the road marking. That was just it was the GPS. I see. Okay, that makes more sense to be honest. I thought it was an actual road marking that was there. Well, fair enough then. That's fine. Gonna go ahead and disable ray tracing and go up to the highest settings, 1440p. Don't really lose too much performance, it seems like. Maybe a couple of FPS. GPU is at 65% usage. Makes sense, we're at 50%. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the city again, because around 75 FPS is where the GPU gets maxed out, I believe. So I'm gonna try to get out of here. Let's see the FPS jump as we leave. 64, 70, 74. Getting 88 here now. That card just popped in, I think. Oh my god. Almost 90 FPS, and GPU is still sitting at 70% usage, so it's not too GPU intensive, it seems like. But optimization is still pretty poor. If you want to play at 30 FPS and you're cool with that, then you can definitely play at 1440p max settings with ray tracing and still get 30 FPS. Alright, playing the game at 4K at high settings. Let's get into it. Finally, we can fully utilize that GPU. Only took to 4K. Game looks amazing at 4K though. Super sharp. Quality is amazing.
Alright, on my way back to the belfry.
VRAM usage is at 7 gigs almost now, so still fine. Now I'm hoping for a 30 FPS experience at 4K with ray tracing, so we can actually at least match the console's quality on the PS5 and Series X. So far, we're doing pretty great at 4K, getting 40 FPS. The stuttering is pretty much gone, it feels like. I can't really feel any slowdowns, because we are sitting at 40 FPS, I guess. We can't really fall too much from like 16 to 40. But I can still see in the frame graph that it is happening. We are getting some stutters. I just can't feel them as much, to be honest. Whoa, this is really bad performance now. Alright, there we go. Caught up, getting 40 FPS again almost. 34 to 37 FPS on average, basically. VRAM is climbing up quite quickly as well. I can see it just going up. We were sitting at 6.6 gigs before, now we're sitting at 7.2 gigs, so that's a decent increase. Getting pretty close to maxing it now. We've got 700 megabytes left of VRAM. But at this point, you can get a 30 FPS lock at 4K high settings. So I guess we can match the console quality. Or 25 FPS here, finally. Dropping down into the 20s there. Now we know on console that it's not a consistent 30. You will still have some dips into the mid to high 20s on console. Yeah, the jump between high and ultra or max settings isn't too big, it seems like. We're only losing a couple of FPS. And our lowest frame rate is also dropped a little bit as well. But other than that, it's about the same, and the quality of the game is also about the same as well. You don't really see too much of an increase from high to ultra, or max settings I should say. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use DLSS for a little bit as well. I know FPS isn't going to improve too much, but I still want to see the GPU usage go down and see how much of a headroom we're getting from it. Okay, FPS did improve quite a bit. We're sitting almost at 60 FPS now. GPU is fully maxed out. The quality of the game looks pretty good as well still. Don't really see any blurriness like 1440p. And as you can see, once we drive through the city, GPU usage is down into the 80s, even the 70s at times. So we're getting around a 20% GPU headroom, which means if you weren't getting bottlenecked here, you could hold a consistent 60 with this card at 4K max settings. Alright, now using ray tracing at max settings, getting a consistent 30 so far, at lock 30. Oh, the game is freezing up on us, getting 10 FPS there for a second. Oh my god, 26 FPS, 25 FPS, very choppy experience now. Yeah, I would avoid playing at max settings with ray tracing at 4K. Alright, that's it for the video guys. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. As always, if you like what you see, and a like and a sub to the channel, I have to shoot as well. See you next time.